They say Christmas miracles are rare, but sometimes heartbreak doesn't break you, it redirects you. And sometimes it leads you straight into the arms of the family you didn't know your heart was waiting for. On a snowy Christmas Eve in Willowbridge Hill, a town where fairy lights glowed against red brick streets and the air smelled of cinnamon and pine, one woman would discover exactly that. Naomi Carter sat alone in the Maple and Ember Bistro, her fingers tracing the rim of an untouched glass of water. Outside, the snow fell in slow spirals, coating the town in white. Families laughed in the streets, couples held hands under glowing wreaths, and the soft hum of holiday music filled the bistro like a heartbeat. And yet, Naomi felt invisible. At 28, she was black, brilliant, and striking. But tonight, in her carefully chosen burgundy dress, she felt small, tiny, unseen. Her blind date, a man she had convinced herself might be different, had walked in, glanced at her across the room, whispered something to the hostess, and left. No hello, no apology, no chance. Naomi's chest tightened. She forced herself to breathe, to stand, to leave quietly before anyone noticed her eyes brimming with tears. Years of giving too much. Years of rebuilding after grief. Years of proving she didn't need anyone else to feel whole. Yet tonight, she had wanted to be seen. Tonight, she had hoped to be chosen. Her heart whispered, almost bitterly, maybe this isn't. Maybe tonight will be the night life finally notices me. And instead, silence. Across the room, a man paused by the door. Graham Whitlock, one of the youngest billionaires in the country, hesitated. Snow dusted his charcoal coat, and his blonde hair was tousled. A tired line marked his jaw, dusted with stubble. His blue-gray eyes scanned the room, but he wasn't here for a meeting or a deal. He was here for something far more personal, something he didn't quite understand himself. His daughters, Harper and Hadley, were curious and restless. He had promised to bring them to the town square to see the lights, but the girls had wandered from his side. And now, for the first time that afternoon, Graham realized he had lost track of them. Panic flared. He scanned the bistro, his heart thumping, not for himself, but for his daughters. Harper, the bolder one, and Hadley, the quieter twin, were already walking toward a small, window-side table. At that moment, Graham didn't notice Naomi Carter. All he saw were the tiny figures of his daughters stepping hesitantly into the bustling room, their eyes wide, their curiosity brimming. But Graham's chest tightened with sudden anticipation and a hint of dread. Naomi sat frozen as tiny boots tapped closer. She looked up. Two little girls, identical, maybe 4 years old, wearing matching emerald dresses, were staring at her. The bolder twin placed her chin gently on Naomi's table. The shy one peeked from behind, her small fingers gripping the plush reindeer she carried. Naomi's heart skipped a beat. Her mind raced. Who are they? Are they lost? Should I call someone? She didn't notice Graham approaching at first, moving swiftly yet carefully. His eyes softened the closer he got, registering relief, embarrassment, and something else, something he hadn't expected. And then the girl spoke. Are you sad? Whispered Hadley, the shy twin. Naomi froze. Before she could answer, Harper leaned closer and whispered, Do you need a hug? Naomi's breath caught. The room seemed to be still. It wasn't just a question from a child. It was as if the girls had seen her heart, knew her loneliness, and reached into the hollow places she'd been trying to hide. Graham stopped just behind them, exhaling softly, unsure if he should intervene. His daughters had never done this before, and yet, somehow, this stranger's presence seemed to pull them forward. I'm Graham Whitlock, he finally said, catching his breath. And these little explorers are Harper and Hadley. Naomi blinked, recognition dawning. Whitlock Innovations, billionaire, public figure. And here he was, humbled by his own daughters. She introduced herself, her voice quiet but steady. Naomi Carter. It's nice to meet you. The twins immediately began chattering about their reindeer plushies, Christmas songs, and how they were helping Daddy smile again. Graham listened, his attention completely absorbed. He noticed Naomi's tear-streaked face, the fragile strength in her posture, and something unexpected stirred inside him. A curiosity, a hope, a warmth he hadn't felt in months. He leaned closer. "If you don't want to spend Christmas Eve alone, would you like to join us?" he asked softly. "No pressure, just company." Naomi hesitated, caught between the impulse to protect herself and the longing to accept connection. The twins nodded eagerly, eyes shining. And for the first time that day, Naomi said yes. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on Melanin Chronicles. Your support keeps these heartwarming stories alive, bringing hope and inspiration to viewers around the world. As they settled, Naomi noticed the fatigue in Graham's posture. The man who had everything in the world carried more worry than any adult should. He shared the challenges of raising twins alone, the sleepless nights, the fear of failing them, the loneliness of a home that felt too quiet since their mother passed. Naomi shared her own struggles, years of grief, the heartbreak of feeling unseen, and the quiet hope that life might still surprise her. For the first time in a long while, they spoke without pretense, without fear of judgment. Naomi laughed, really laughed, at Harper's insistence that her reindeer was the bravest in the world. Graham's laughter followed, soft and relieved, a sound she would remember forever. Outside, snowflakes swirled, each one catching the fading sunlight. Inside, their table glowed with warmth, laughter, and the quiet magic of connection. As the afternoon wore on, Naomi felt a gentle pull in her chest, something she couldn't explain, something that made her aware of every flutter of Graham's eyes as he watched her interact with his daughters. Graham, too, felt it. He noticed the way Naomi's eyes softened when Harper and Hadley clung to her, the way her laughter seemed to fill the room, the way she carried herself despite the loneliness he sensed behind her smile. A question lingered in the air. Could someone so unassuming, so unexpectedly kind, really become part of their lives? The twins, sensing the tension, inched closer to Naomi. Hadley whispered, "Will you, be our friend forever?" Naomi's heart thumped so loudly she was sure Graham could hear it. Before she could respond, Harper rested her head against Naomi's shoulder. The words simple and devastating, "Maybe one day. You could be our mom." Time slowed. Snow fell silently outside. The bistro seemed to hold its breath. Graham looked at Naomi, his voice catching. "I'm so sorry. They don't understand boundaries." Naomi shook her head gently. "It's okay. Truly." And in that instant, Graham knew something profound had shifted, not just in his daughters, but in all three of their hearts. When they finally stepped outside, the snow had begun to fall gently again. Harper and Hadley ran ahead, spinning in the flakes, laughing like tiny bells. Graham turned to Naomi. His breath formed clouds in the cold night air. "Can we see you again?" he asked softly. "I don't want this afternoon to be the last time. The girls would love more Christmas activities." And he paused, vulnerability raw in his eyes. "I would too." Naomi felt hope bloom where only doubt had lived. She whispered, "I'd like that." The twins waved wildly. "Don't forget us, Miss Naomi." Graham offered her a gentle, unmistakable smile, a silent promise that this was only the beginning. Naomi realized something profound as she looked at the snow-covered streets. Rejection isn't punishment. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes life simply redirects you towards something better, something miraculous. And in that moment, she knew. Some miracles aren't just meant to be witnessed, they're meant to be lived. In the most unexpected ways, subscribe to Melanin Chronicles. Comment below, which moment touched you the most in this Christmas Eve miracle? Your support helps us share more heartwarming stories and celebrate the magic of connection, hope, and unexpected love. And as Naomi walked into the snowy evening, her heart full of hope, she realized one thing clearly. Sometimes the family you've been waiting for is waiting for you, too. Just around the corner, under the glow of Christmas lights.